Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is March 16th, 2026. We're going to read from Exodus chapter 27 and John chapter 6. So we're going to continue with God describing what he wants built for his tabernacle on earth. We're going to go through the altar for the burnt offerings, the courtyard of the tabernacle, and the lampstand. So let's go ahead. We're going to read Exodus chapter 27. You shall make an altar of acacia wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits wide. The altar shall be square, and its height shall be 3 cubits. You shall make its horn on its 4 corners. Its horn shall be of one piece with it, and you shall overlay it with bronze. Also you shall make its pans to receive its ashes, and its shovels, and its basins, and its forks, and its fire pans. You shall make all its utensils of bronze. You shall make a grate for it, a network of bronze, and on the network you shall make 4 bronze rings at its 4 corners. You shall put it under the rim of the altar beneath, that the network may be midway up the altar. And you shall make poles for the altar, poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with bronze. The poles shall be put in the rings, and the poles shall be on the 2 sides of the altar to bear it. You shall make it hollow with boards, as it was shown you on the mountain, so shall they make it. You shall also make the court of the tabernacle. For the south side there shall be hangings for the court made of fine woven linen, 100 cubits long for one side, and its 20 pillars, and their 20 sockets shall be bronze. The hooks of the pillars and the bands shall be silver. Likewise along the length of the north side there shall be hangings 100 cubits long, with its 20 pillars and their 20 sockets of bronze, and the hooks of the pillars and their bands of silver. And along the width of the court on the west side shall be hangings of 50 cubits, with their 10 pillars and their 10 sockets. The width of the court on the east side shall be 50 cubits. The hangings on one side of the gate shall be 15 cubits, with their 3 pillars and their 3 sockets, and on the other side shall be hangings of 15 cubits, with their 3 pillars and their 3 sockets. For the gate of the court there shall be a screen 20 cubits long, woven of blue, purple, and scarlet thread, and fine woven linen made by a weaver. It shall have 4 pillars and 4 sockets. All the pillars around the court shall have bands of silver. Their hooks shall be of silver, and their sockets of bronze. The length of the court shall be 100 cubits, the width 50 throughout, and the height 5 cubits, made of fine woven linen, and its sockets of bronze. All the utensils of the tabernacle for all its service, all its pegs, and all the pegs of the court shall be of bronze. And you shall command the children of Israel that they bring you pure oil of pressed olives for the light, to cause the lamp to burn continually. In the tabernacle of meeting outside the veil which is before the testimony, Aaron and his sons shall tend it from evening until morning before the Lord. It shall be a statute forever to their generations on behalf of the children of Israel. Let's move over to John chapter 6. After these things, Jesus went over the Sea of Galilee, which is the Sea of Tiberias. So he's leaving Judah, left Samaria, he's now back in Galilee. Then a great multitude followed him, because they saw his signs which he performed on those who were diseased. And Jesus went up on the mountain, and there he sat with his disciples. So the people are following him, not because he's the Messiah who's going to bring salvation and restoration to God, but because they've seen signs, miracles, and wonders, and they want to see more signs, miracles, and wonders. And that's been the problem for Jesus in all the gospel accounts, and especially here in John, that people are responding to what he's doing, but they're not paying attention to what he's saying. And we still see that today, with people chasing after the signs, but not the one who gives the signs. Verse 4, now the Passover, a feast of the Jews, was near. Then Jesus lifted up his eyes, and seeing a great multitude coming toward him, he said to Philip, where shall we buy bread that these may eat? But this he said to test him, for he himself knew what he would do. Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may have a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said to him, there is a lad here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish, but what are they among so many? So all 4 Gospels have this feeding of the 5,000. Little slight variations amongst them. Verse 10, then Jesus said, make the people sit down. Now there was much grass in the place, so the men sat down in number, about 5,000. Again, just the men, 5,000, not counting women and children, so there were more than that. And Jesus took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed them to the disciples, and the disciples to those sitting down, and likewise of the fish as much as they wanted. So when they were filled, he said to his disciples, gather up the fragments that remain, so that nothing is lost. Therefore they gathered them up, and filled 12 baskets with the fragments of the 5 barley loaves which were left over by those who had eaten. Then those men, when they had seen the sign that Jesus did, said, this is truly the prophet who is to come into this world. That's what, number 4 of the signs? So now he's created food where there wasn't enough food. Another creation miracle. He's created wine from water. He's created enough to feed 5,000 from 5 fish sandwiches. Therefore, when Jesus perceived that they were about to come and take him by force to make him king, he departed again to the mountain by himself alone. And there's a problem, and why he kept wanting to keep it on the down low as he went through there. Because now they're going, we're going to make him king. But that's going to bring it to a head right then, because the Romans aren't going to ignore that. So Jesus flees. He says, nope, not going to let you do that. And he departs. And he's going to go up to pray by himself. Verse 16, now when evening came, his disciples went down to the sea, got into the boat, and went over the sea toward Capernaum, and it was already dark, and Jesus had not come to them. Then the sea arose because a great wind was blowing. So when they had rowed about 3 or 4 miles, they saw Jesus walking on the sea and drawing near the boat. And they were afraid, but he said to them, it is I, do not be afraid. Then they willingly received him into the boat, and immediately the boat was at the land where he was going. 5th sign, he can walk on water. Only God can do that. What about Peter? Wasn't Peter? This is John's story. Peter's story was him walking on the water and testing his faith and having it waver. John just wants us to see that miracle of Jesus walking on the water and see that there's the 5th miracle. And Jesus builds on his miracles, that there's no doubt that he isn't God based on what he can do. Verse 22, on the following day, when the people who were standing on the other side of the sea saw that there was no other boat there, except that one which his disciples had entered. Oh, and I guess there was miracle 5.5, because as soon as he was in the boat, it was where it was supposed to go. And that Jesus had not entered the boat with his disciples, but his disciples had gone away alone. However, other boats came from Tiberias, near the place where they ate bread after the Lord had given thanks. When the people therefore saw that Jesus was not there, nor his disciples, they also got into boats and came to Capernaum, seeking Jesus. When they found him on the other side of the sea, they said to him, Rabbi, when did you come here? Jesus answered them and said, doesn't answer their question. He answers the bigger question that they didn't answer. Jesus answered them and said, most assuredly I say to you, you seek me, not because you saw the signs, but because you ate of the loaves and were filled. So we said at the start of this that was the problem, that the people were chasing after him for signs. Now he's telling these people, it isn't even the signs. You got fed, and you're coming to me because you expect to get fed again. You're rooted in the physical world, and that's all you're getting out of these signs, is that I can control the physical world, and that if you stay close to me, you might get something out of it. You're missing the big picture. Verse 27, do not labor for the food which perishes, but for the food which endures to everlasting life, which the Son of Man will give you, because God the Father has set his seal on him. All those signs point to me being the Son of God. And if I'm the Son of God, I can give you much more than just physical stuff. I can give you spiritual renewal and bring you back into the fold where you belong, where you started off in the Garden of Eden, and where you've been trying to get ever since on your own, and you ain't doing it, because I'm the only one that can get you there. But you got to listen to me. Verse 28, then they said to him, what shall we do that we may work the works of God? And again, they're basing it on works. Jesus answered and said to them, this is the work of God, that you believe in him whom he sent. That's the only work that counts, Jesus tells them. Believe in me. That's it. Everything else you're doing is a waste of time. Unless you believe in me, you're not getting to heaven. Verse 30, therefore they said to him, what sign will you perform then, that we may see it and believe you? What work will you do? Our fathers ate the manna in the desert, as it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat. Do something then. Show us. Prove it. We're going to ignore all the other 5 things you did that only God could do. Give us another one. Unless you do a miracle for me, I'm not going to believe you. Verse 32, then Jesus said to them, most assuredly I say to you, Moses did not give you the bread from heaven, but my Father gives you the true bread from heaven. So when the manna came down, it wasn't Moses that gave it to him, it was God. And God has given you the true bread, for the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. I'm the bread from heaven. And I'm here right now. Verse 34, then they said to him, Lord, give us this bread always. And Jesus said to them, I am the bread of life. And these are the first of these I am statements that John's going to give us. He who comes to me shall never hunger, and he who believes in me shall never thirst. But I said to you that you have seen me, and yet do not believe. All that the Father gives me will come to me, and the one who comes to me I will by no means cast out. For I have come down from heaven not to do my own will, but the will of him who sent me. This is the will of the Father who sent me, that of all he has given me I should lose nothing, but should raise it up at the last day. And this is the will of him who sent me, that everyone who sees the Son and believes in him may have everlasting life, and I will raise him up at the last day. Big Trinity statement there. How do you get to the Father? Only through the Son. What about predestination? Well, that's between the Father and the Son. Because Jesus talks about predestination. Whoever the Father gives me, that's who I'm taking to heaven. But you know what you need to know? It's between me and you. You don't believe in me, you're not one of the predestined. That's your first thing. You've got to believe in me. Don't worry about whether you're predestined or not. Believe in me and you're predestined. Verse 41, the Jews then complained about him because he said, I am the bread which comes down from heaven. And they said, is not this Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How is it then that he says, I have come down from heaven? Back stuck in the physical world. Back stuck in only what they see, ignoring the spiritual. Jesus therefore answered and said to them, do not murmur among yourselves. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up at the last day. It is written in the prophets, and they shall all be taught by God. Therefore everyone who has heard and learned from the Father comes to me. He's reinforcing that idea. Believe in me. That's it. That's all you got to know. Don't worry about the predestined part. Just believe in me. All the rest will be taken care of. Verse 46, not that anyone has seen the Father except he who is from God. He has seen the Father. Most assuredly I say to you, he who believes in me has everlasting life. I am the bread of life. Your fathers ate the manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which comes down from heaven, that one may eat of it and not die. I am the living bread which comes down from heaven. If anyone eats of this bread, he will live forever. And the bread that I shall give is my flesh, which I shall give for the life of the world. He's going to sacrifice himself. The Jews therefore quarreled among themselves, saying, how can this man give us his flesh to eat? Stuck in the physical. Is he telling us to be cannibals? No, he is not. Verse 33, then Jesus said to them, most assuredly I say to you, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Spiritually, we need to partake of his death on the cross and his resurrection. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. For my flesh is food indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He who eats my flesh and drinks my blood abides in me, and I in him. Again, spiritually, spiritually, spiritually. As the living Father sent me, and I live because of the Father, so he who feeds on me will live because of me. This is the bread which comes down from heaven, not as your fathers ate the manna and are dead. He who eats this bread will live forever. These things he said in the synagogue as he taught in Capernaum. Feed your spirit, and what your spirit is hungering for is my bread, my flesh, and my blood, my life that I gave for you. Speaking ahead of time, because he hasn't given it quite yet. Verse 60, therefore many of his disciples, when they heard this, said, this is a hard saying. Who can understand it? Stuck in the physical. When Jesus knew in himself that his disciples complained about this, he said to them, does this offend you? What then if you should see the Son of Man descend where he was before? It is the Spirit who gives life. The flesh profits nothing. The words that I speak to you are spirit, and they are life. But there are some of you who do not believe. For Jesus knew from the beginning who they were who did not believe and who would betray him. And he said, therefore I have said to you that no one can come to me unless it has been granted to him by my Father. Just some of you are never going to get it. And you never were. Jesus offered it to you anyway. Verse 66, from that time many of his disciples went back and walked with him no more. Then Jesus said to the 12, do you also want to go away? But Simon Peter answered him, Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life. Also we have come to believe and know that you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. I have faith. Still don't understand it, but we got faith in you. Jesus answered them, did I not choose you, the 12, and one of you is a devil? He spoke of Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon, for it was he who would betray him, being one of the 12. Never got out of the physical. May God bless the reading of his word. May God bless you. Bye.